just went to the airport to get our COVID test so we could go to Morocco, and it turns out Mom has COVID. Our train just broke down. Now the emergency lights are on.
Give it a go, don't waste your time, 'cause you're running out. Give it a go and ask around. Only takes a try, yeah. Even if she tells you no, then at least you know. So give it a go, give it a go.
Welcome to Rory and Sage van life. So we just went to the airport to get our COVID test so we could go to Morocco, and it turns out Mom has COVID. So we just rented this big van.
So you heard that right. I apparently have COVID. I'm feeling fine. I just have a slight cold, a scratchy throat, as you might be able to hear. I have a little bit of a runny nose. I don't know how long I've been sick. We're hoping that in a couple days I can clear the COVID test and we can get out of here. So hope for the best.
So from Barcelona, we drove south to Tarragona, mainly because the hotel rates were really good in Tarragona.
$7 for a toll?
In Tarragona, we spent a lot of time just resting and went on a few walks around the town.
I feel so alive.
Look at how beautiful the flowers are.
Right now we are laying in bed. My husband decided to pull up our work schedule. It starts in 2 months and it's giving me major anxiety. Training days, work days, teacher in-services, oh my gosh. The only schedule I like right now is that at 9 a.m. every day I wake up and go downstairs to breakfast. That's the only schedule I want.
We have 17 days off for Christmas.
17 days? It's like 5 countries, right?
We can have a duty traveling there, right there.
The next morning, we celebrated Dad's birthday, and someone at breakfast told us about a flower festival happening in Girona. So we hopped in our car and headed to Girona.
What's your favorite thing about staying at Doubletree?
Cookies! We checked into our hotel, and at this point, Mom was starting to feel a little bit better.
Her COVID test results were starting to lighten, so we were ready to get outside.
Girona was seriously the cutest little town. We were able to walk from our hotel to the old town where the flower festival is being held. And this was the perfect way to spend Dad's birthday.
Passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt.
Welcome to Girona. We're here to see the yearly flower festival.
In the spring, during the second week of May, the streets of Girona fill with color as the city hosts its annual flower festival. People within the community each design and display a flower artistic design of some kind. We noticed that it seemed like each business made a display, and different groups within the community would make displays as well. Each display had a sign on it that explained who it was made by and what the artistic piece meant.
I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way.
It seemed like people from all over Spain would come to Girona to experience these beautiful displays.
Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride.
Not only were the flower displays beautiful, but the architecture in Girona was also beautiful. We could see how pretty this town was with or without the flowers.
Against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way. I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay, 'cause I found my
Our favorite part of the flower festival was a street full of trees made by local school children. Each class designed a tree and it was on display on this street. It was so neat to look at the different designs and imagine kids our age putting these trees together. On our way back to the hotel, we found this super cool zip line and we had a lot of fun with it.
Mom,
It's negative. I got over the COVID. I did it. Good morning. I don't have COVID. Okay, I got excited a little too early. There is a really faint line. Let me show you. See that? There is a really faint line, but that's still really promising because that means it's almost out of my system.
We decided to stay one more night in Girona. We spent some time outside and Mom baked in the sun to try to get the rest of the COVID out of her body. The next morning, Mom was testing negative on the rapid test, so we decided to drive to the Barcelona airport to see if she would have the negative result on the PCR test so we could go to Morocco. We didn't film at the airport because it was rather depressing. Mom actually tested positive on the PCR test, so we were still stuck in Spain. To be honest, we were pretty disappointed because at this point we weren't going to be able to go to Morocco. Our flight home to the United States was in less than a week and we wouldn't have time to go to Morocco.
and churros with chocolate.
So because Mom's rapid test was negative, we considered her not contagious. We decided to make plans within Spain for the rest of the time here. Overnight, Dad did some serious travel planning and decided we would head to the northern part of Spain for the rest of our time in Europe. We were lucky that throughout this time, Dad, Rory, and I did not get sick at all. Rory, Dad, and I actually had COVID a few months prior, so we think we had immunity from that. Our first stop on our train tour was Tudela, Spain. Tudela was a quiet and picturesque town. We spent some time there doing some homeschool assignments and just kind of living like a local. We really enjoyed just walking around, seeing the ancient architecture, and found some really great restaurants. The dining experiences in Spain are so different from in the United States. Lunch is usually 3 courses, and it comes with a bottle of wine, and it's just a really relaxing environment. From Tudela, we hopped on a train to go to Bilbao, and Bilbao is a city in northern Spain. The first thing we did when we got to Bilbao was check into our hotel. This hotel felt super fancy and also had a historic vibe. Room tour, so when you walk in, you have my dad, and then you have me and Rory's bed. We have a walk-in closet, we have the bathroom, sink, toilet, shower, and a bidet, and then the master bedroom. Another super cool thing about this room was the view of Bilbao. Once we got checked into our hotel, we went out to go see the city right away, and we were so impressed. Life in the city was unmatched. Just take a look at all the kids playing at this park in the afternoon. At this point, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We noticed that we were starting to get hungry and we were looking for a place to eat. To our surprise, not a single restaurant was open. So we started looking for some fast food and there was no fast food places. Luckily, we came across this Tella Pizza, which is more of a chain restaurant, and we were literally the only people dining at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We continued walking around Bilbao. This was a weekday evening and just so many people were out and about. It was really amazing to us. This city was so unique. It seemed to have the class of Madrid, the walkability and trendiness of Milan, and the liveliness of Seville. It had a culture we hadn't seen in Spain yet. They even spoke another language.
We just learned that the kids here speak 4 languages. In school, they learn French, English, Basque, and Spanish. The main language in this area of Spain is called Basque, and Basque is the language they speak in school.
The next day, we made sure not to miss lunch. The lunch special was a 3-course meal and included a bottle of wine. This meal came with soup as an appetizer, a main course of fish or steak, and a dessert. Our meal came to a total of 53 euros, which is about $53 US.
We're about to take a train ride from Bilbao to Barcelona. It'll take 7 hours to get there.
Train stations in Europe are kind of like airports in the US. Train travel is so popular and the train stations are very organized. On the train, Sage and I worked on some homeschool. Everything seemed to be going good until this happened.
Our train just broke down. Our train just got stuck in the middle of nowhere. Because of the language barrier, we have no idea what the conductor is saying.
So we had no idea what was going on with the train or how long we'd be stuck there. Then, all of a sudden, the train lost all power.
The lights just cut out.
We still have no idea what's going on. Everybody's chattering in Spanish around us, and we don't know Spanish well enough to know what they were saying.
They just shut off again.
Con la intención de poder bajarnos de este tren que no nos sirve y ya en ese andén coger otro tren que nos venga a gustar. Esa es la opción. Lo van a intentar.
It's starting to get hot in here. We're still chilling. Not moving yet. Now the emergency lights are off.
At this point, it was completely dark outside. We were in the middle of Spain and still did not know what was going on.
Pero más o menos ¿cuánto tiempo? La verdad es que es molesto ir contando cosas así.
Right now we're about to switch trains.
So the train company had sent another train to transport us all to Barcelona. So we all hopped on the new train. Luckily, there were a few passengers on the train that were able to translate to English for us, so we weren't completely in the dark the entire time.
Now that we're on a new train, we can head to Barcelona finally.
So we commuted the rest of the way to Barcelona, but then we had another problem on our hands. Due to the delay, Dad had canceled our hotel for the night because he thought we'd have to go right to the airport. However, we arrived in Barcelona at 2 in the morning, where it was too early to go to the airport, but it was too late to get a hotel room. It seemed like all the hotels in Barcelona were completely booked due to some event going on. So we went to the hotel we've stayed at before right near the train station to see if they had an extra room. They said they were completely booked and didn't have a single room we could stay in. We explained we needed to leave about 4 or 5 in the morning to get to the airport, and this happened.
This is a first. There were no rooms in the hotel, so letting us stay in the lobby.
So we slept very peacefully for about 2 hours in the lobby of this hotel before heading to the airport. What was super interesting about this stuck in Spain with COVID incident was that while this was all happening, the US changed the rules so that you no longer had to take a COVID test to get back into the US. So upon returning to the United States, none of us had to clear a COVID test. Also, something really cool about Spain is that when you travel with a family, you get to use the fast lane and you don't have to wait in long security lines.
We just take a shower in the airport. Shower tour! So first you have the shower, then you have the sink. All clean.
So since we didn't have a proper hotel stay last night, it was really convenient being able to shower in the airport lounge. Getting on this flight was bittersweet. This would be our last flight as a full-time traveling family, for now that is, and it was kind of emotional.
So we haven't been on a plane for about a month between the cruise and our time in Spain, and this is the first time we do not have to wear a mask on the plane. And it's been 2 years we've been traveling all throughout the pandemic, and this is the first.
I'm Rory, by the way.
I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way. I found my way.
One more flight.
I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way.
Hi everyone, yesterday we arrived in Tampa Bay, and we're going to be setting up a home base here in Florida. And we're going to take you along on this journey. Come along.
I know man passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, so in